is the 10-0 Podcast. If you came here for self-help, financial, or relationship advice, you're going to be really, really disappointed. The only advice I'd take from these three would be, nothing. Now, you sit back, pipe down, and give it up for your hosts, Mike, Tom, and Cole.
Did you just take a hit off of that?
Pass it down.
Oh my God.
Shake it first.
Oh my God, dude.
Ha! Oh God. Don't get right in there. Don't just come on. A little bit closer. A little bit closer. Tiny bit. Yeah, there you go.
Dude.
Woo!
You're a weird motherfucker.
Oh, all right.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Okay. So.
Oh, God damn it.
Yeah, we got some new sponsors happening. We got Jujimufu sent us a bunch of how you want to do it. It's the world's strongest smelling salts. So we just did. Got a couple bags here. Probably be giving them away at some point. They are fucking strong.
I lost part of my brain last night.
Dude, your eye blew out. Your eye literally blew out of your fucking head. Oh God. Oh. Yeah, so we're talking about stunts and acting tonight. Cole actually did a stunt earlier.
I got my ass waxed there.
Yes, he did.
That we talked about.
Yeah.
There's video, but we can't get it on here.
We'll have to post it in the.
I'm gonna post it in the group. Yeah. It was glorious.
Apparently.
I enjoyed it.
How much did it hurt? Like, honestly, how much did it hurt?
I mean, there's a pain level there, but I wouldn't really. It's not like comparable to anything that I can think of, but it's not like unbearable.
Right.
But there is
I think being nervous, you were
definite different feeling when I'm sitting down.
Well, it was, at least for me, different holding your ass cheeks open.
You were there for the whole time.
Yeah.
I just went in to pull the tape off because I was filming. You were there.
It was really weird when my hands started to get clammy and sweaty and my hand was touching his ass.
And Cole noticed it.
Yeah. It was kind of weird because I didn't remove my hand. I kept it there.
How warm was the wax?
It was like hot? If you spill coffee on yourself, like that.
That hot?
Not like right out of the fucking brewer, but like, you've been driving to work, and by the time you get to work, you take a sip of that coffee. It's hot enough to drink it, but it's still hot.
Yeah,
like that.
Okay,
like that.
That's good though.
It was.
That's nice.
It's like hot tub hot.
Yeah,
it's like a.
Okay.
It's like a feel good,
right?
Soothing,
like warm apple pie.
Yeah. Warm apple pie.
And Cole actually prepped for it. He was, made sure.
How far up did you shove that soap?
Dude, I had the whole bar.
So you were just like rubbing the squatch in your ass crack.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I really didn't want to get shit on my fingers.
This was the pine tar?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. So I had the fucking pickies on it.
So did you smell pine?
Yeah.
No.
Did smell pine?
No, I didn't smell pine. I actually smelled lumberjack from the beard balm that I got.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Oscar's. Dude, yeah. Oscar's Grooming Company.
Yeah.
He sent us over some beard balm stuff to try, and that shit
They are amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
The smell just lasts, I'd say probably 24 hours, if not more.
Really?
Yeah. And it's a good feeling. Like, have you used like store-bought shit before?
Yeah.
And that Oscar stuff is just.
I even got in the shower after, like the next day. And as I'm like washing it out,
came back.
I can smell it again.
Yeah.
So it's definitely
nice.
It stays around.
Yeah. And as you can see on the bottom of the screen there, if you go to his shop, oscarsgroomingcompany.com, and use code 10 you get, what was it, Mike? 20% off. 20% off.
Yep.
So go check him out.
And the owner was on our last podcast season one, and it was Todd. He was on there talking about his work. He had that glorious lumberjack Viking beard.
Yeah. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
So,
okay. All right. Now, without further ado, I think we're going to get Frankie in here. You guys, if you listen to the paranormal episode, Frankie was on there as one of the co-stars of Crossover Discoveries, which is on the Paraflix network. If you haven't checked that out, there's an episode up on there. That's actually pretty good. You guys could check that out. So we're going to get him in here. We're going to be talking about all things Hollywood, movie stuntman stuff, acting, right?
Yeah.
All that good jazz.
Wherever Frankie wants to go, man.
Should we talk about our move?
Our move?
Oh, to hear.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the new
so
studio.
as you can see, there is a new background behind us if you're watching on YouTube, and we have moved to, instead of third bedroom studios, we've switched to finished basement studios.
Yep.
It doesn't quite have that ring that you like, though, but it's nice.
But it's nice. You know, there's this nice, kind of pine wall behind us here. And
call it Man Cave.
Could call
Man Cave Studios.
Yeah, Man Cave Studios.
Up Flush Studios.
Up Flush.
Yeah, we tested that Up Flush not too long ago.
Yeah,
it works.
There's an Up Flush bathroom down here.
It works.
It works well.
Mm-hmm.
Tom put the wood to it.
We put her to the test.
All right, here he comes. Frank.
Oh, look at that. He's already got the guitar going on. Here we go. Frankie, what do you got there? What?
Sean, sorry. Oh my God, sorry.
What brand is that, Frankie? What do you got?
I got this. So unprofessional. I'm sorry about that.
Is that a Fender? What is that?
It's your mama.
Do you know?
I don't know.
You're too old for that.
Like that. God, that was so unprofessional. I was just, I was there in the moment, and then I'm here, and hey, nice to see you guys again. Oh,
what's up, brother?
God, you're fatter. I mean, I'm flattered that I'm here with you. Thank you for having me.
Dude, we love it that you're here.
Yes.
I missed you.
I'm here. Actually, I love them anywhere. But okay. What's going on?
Where'd you get that chair, man? Seriously. I love that chair.
What nursing home did you steal that out of?
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
It was the recently departed. Jesus Christ. I know. They don't.
It doesn't matter.
No, they don't hear me. They just talk.
You know?
Yes, it's I mean, Tony died, and here I am.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
It's very nice.
Happening?
Probably from his time in the old timey movies.
The old timey movies.
Yeah.
Old timey movies. Yeah. Wow, that's a shot.
No sound.
Old-timey.
That's a shot.
I don't know how you guys keep this podcast going.
I don't either.
It's a lot of sexual. It's a lot of sexual favors, Frankie.
Luckily, it doesn't cost us any money.
Before it's called Hollywood. Fantastic couch, honestly. Am I in the movie?
Yeah, we'll put you in a movie. One of them really good movies.
First time I scored. Thank you.
All right, Frank. Frankie, tell us a little bit about you and how you got into the biz, man.
Wow, this is gonna be a crazy story. I actually because my background with the paranormal. I was in a monastery first to be a monk. Can you imagine that?
Wow.
I know that's what.
Kind of did a 180 there, didn't you, Frankie?
I moved to New York City, and I was in the off-Broadway show called Tina and Tony's Wedding. So I played Barry Wheeler in that show. And I did that for a period of time. And one of my friends, Kate McCucci, was on Scrubs. And she said, hey, you should, when the show's over, you should come to Hollywood. You're going to like the whole idea of film and stuff like that. And I went, God, yes, let's do that. And so I went there, and I realized it is a land of make-believe. It never happened that quickly. And I spent a lot of time going, how am I going to pay my bills? Oh, my God, I'm almost homeless. Oh, wait a minute, I am homeless. And then the next thing you know, you're at a coffee shop, and you've been talking to the same person for, I don't know, almost a year now. And then that person finally breaks out and says, I'm a person who puts stunts together. Well, he wasn't fully honest about that. His actual title was president of Stunts Unlimited, and he put a lot of stunts together. So he became my stunt person who helped me get in my career. And then I worked with Dan Haggerty after that, who helped me with my acting career. If you don't know who that is, it's Grizzly Adams. Just saying.
I knew who that was.
Yeah.
Yeah. And went from there. But, to be honest with you, when I finally broke it off to my parents, because my mom and dad were like, oh, yeah, you're going to become an actor. That's horrible. You're never going to get anywhere. My dad chalked it up to like being Picasso and dead. So I was never going anywhere. And when my dad found out that my mentor for acting was Dan Haggerty, he like almost lost his shit, because that was the show that him and I watched all the time, Grizzly Adams. And he's like, oh, Dan Haggerty? The real Dan Haggerty? And I'm like, yeah, unless there's a fake one. Yeah, that's the Dan Haggerty I know. So it went from there. And Dan Haggerty comes from stunts as well. So
Really? Okay.
it's a great background to have.
So what kind of so you actually just kind of had coffee with this person every day, and that's how you got into it?
Yeah, I didn't even know who the hell he was. Well,
Holy shit.
He never told me either.
Yeah.
And then finally I think maybe I was bitching too much about how I was working so hard to try to find an agent and a manager and get roles and so on and so forth. Because at that time, the only thing that I had in Hollywood was being the Brady Pub bartender. So I was on Days of Our Lives. So I was the guy that served drinks to all the bad people, I guess, on Days of Our Lives. I don't know. I'll tell you this much. It was $410 a day, and I spent maybe 5 minutes on set because they shoot
wow,
page of script per minute. So
Okay.
pretty fast turnaround, and 3 people shoot, so it was pretty quick.
So what year was that?
1935.
Nice.
Mike, you were 30, right?
That's when sound first came into movie. Yes, I was about 32 years old.
Barry Pickford about that. That's crazy how you think about that. No, it was God, was it 1999? I think.
Okay.
One of the two. I have to go back to my really bad paychecks.
So it started back in the late 90s and then just went from there, huh? Gotcha. So Days was your first gig, or
For film, yeah.
for film? Okay. Now for stunts, was it, before that, after that? Because you did stunts also, right?
It was after. Well, Days of Our Lives doesn't have a lot of stunts, so.
Right.
But nevertheless, outside of jumping from old women, no, please don't touch me. I think what was the very first stunts that I ever did? It was a low budget film. I think we shot it in Seattle, or Spokane, Washington. I think is where it was at. It was Cuba Gooding Jr. and Christian Slater, and I think it was called Book of Something. They changed it up. Tiber Takis was the director of the film, and they changed I don't know if they didn't like his work or whatever, but they changed the actual tagline for the movie up at that point. I've never watched it, so I really don't.
Okay.
So then when you roll into the stunt stuff, is that like they send you to a training or a school for that? Or did they just kind of say, hey, when this goes off, tuck and roll, man?
For me, it was more tuck and roll. I know there's people that do go to stunt school for, stunts, but it doesn't mean you get picked up by a company. And Stunts Unlimited is probably the largest one in Hollywood. And that's the one I got picked up on, but because of Destiny. So
now, did you do any work for Jean-Claude Van Damme?
No. There it is.
No.
There it is. Every fucking time, man.
All I got.
You knew it was coming.
Yeah, I knew it was
coming.
That guy doesn't do anything that needs stuntman, though.
So what kind of training? I assume you have to be in top physical shape to be a stuntman. I mean, that's pretty demanding. So what kind of training? How many hours a day, week? Did you have a personal trainer? Did you have someone cooking your meals?
No. Yeah, right. I remember one of the hardest stunts that I ever did, and no offense to Sons of Anarchy, not at all, but the hardest stunts that I ever did was for kind of a ground zero movie that had to do kind of like with the apocalypse. And my scene was taking a shot to the heart with an arrow, and I have to roll off this mountainside. And so the director kept telling me, you know, this is pinned into your shirt. So remember, when you fall, you need to tuck really closely in, because if you don't, it's going to puncture you.
Oh, shit.
Jesus.
And I went, all right, this is not going to be good. And so I did my rolls. And when I did my rolls, if you actually watch the movie, you'll notice that I actually lift the heels of my feet, because Justin was my stunt choreographer on that. And he said the only way you're going to be able to do this and still make it look believable is if you just hype your feet just a little bit. Just hype them and tuck in your roll almost like you're springboarding. And I went, all right. Well, if you look at the heel that I'm actually falling down, it's like, I don't know, 75 feet.
Holy
It's
shit.
a ways down, you know? And you got to watch out, because, you know, Mother Nature doesn't go, well, you know what? Frank's doing stunts today, so we'll take the rocks out, we'll take the trees out and everything else, and he'll just fall down a hill. That's great. No, you got all the hazards in the way, and you got to learn how to fall down the hill, because no matter how great your stunt choreographer is, they don't tell you, go this way for 5 feet, turn your body, go for another 2 feet, and then turn your body again and go right. And when you do that, remember all the time, don't puncture your heart. Keep that arrow out of your chest. No, nobody says that. They just say, fall down, make it look believable. Action.
Jesus.
Did they make you do it again?
I went down. I went, Jesus.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, like, you know, is it so for that, is that like, you know, a one and done, or, you know, do you get like a practice fucking roll or something? Or
I got so tired of walking up that fucking hill. You know, I don't care what they tell you about the Hollywood industry. Craft services is great, but there's nobody who will actually put you on their back and walk your ass up a hill. You do that on your own. So I did that, I think, like 15 times, 16 times.
Jesus.
Wow.
Before the director finally said, cut.
With an arrow close to puncturing your heart 16 times.
Every time I fell, I just constantly thought about that to myself, that this is in my shirt. And if I fall the wrong way, this is still a piece of metal.
Yeah.
And it will
Jesus, I want to watch that now.
What's the worst, like, I assume you acquired some injuries along the way.
Yeah, I have.
What's the worst one that you've had?
I pulled my, I don't know what then, not a doctor.
Where is it?
I pulled a muscle in my back.
Yeah.
But it was a nerve, actually. And it left me paralyzed on the floor for like 40 minutes before the paramedics showed up.
Holy shit.
To get, because I couldn't stand up.
What stunt was that for?
That was for Transformers Dark of the Moon.
Dark of the Moon.
Mm-hmm.
So what? Okay.
So he was a Nest agent in that, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
Is that right?
I'm trying to remember the Dark of the Moon. Okay, so Nest. So you were a good guy, kind of. Yeah, you were a good guy.
Technically, yeah.
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 Nest, because Nest was.
I never read that far into the script, but yeah.
I know. I read that far into the movie, so
Fans seem to like it. So when my fans shoot with people in front of Optimus Prime, I was like, "This is awesome." People.
That's awesome.
You know?
Yeah. I'm gonna have to watch that again.
I spent like 35 minutes on the ground going, I can't stand up.
Holy shit. So what scene was it? Like, what were you doing?
It was one where getting ready to head out of the garages, if you remember that, of the big warehouses.
Yes, I remember that.
Yep.
And I went to lift the door, and I didn't realize these were sealed doors. They take it, shoot someplace else, and I actually lifted with my back.
Oh.
And that's all I remember.
I know exactly how that fucking feels, man. I heard it in my lower back doing stupid shit like that, and it's terrible. Fuck
yeah, the
that.
door didn't move, those cocksuckers. They won't even tell me that.
I bet your spine moved though.
Oh, it did. Yeah. Still to this day.
Oh,
Sex with me is horrible.
prove it. Prove it.
Ow.
Prove it. So you were also in Fast and the Furious, I'm told.
I was.
Furious 7.
Furious 7.
Yes.
Very close thing.
You were a driver in that.
Yeah.
Now, what scene was that? I'm remembering all these movies and I'm like, holy shit. What scene were you in that?
The driving scene with the Charger.
With the what?
Charger.
Charger?
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know which one I saw. I saw the first one and I loved it, but then there was one that had like a fucking AC 130.
6 into 7 with that because you got to remember Paul died.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And they had to kind of like cancel out shooting for
Right.
like 2 years before we went back into production again with that movie.
7 was the one he died during, correct? Because that's the one where they had his actual, like, his brother was playing the role of him, and they kind of like put his face.
I know his brother, and
yeah,
my God, he looks a lot like him.
Yeah,
and that's amazing how the director actually put that together.
Did the CGI for that? Yeah. I mean, you can tell it's definitely like not him, but it looks pretty freaking close to it.
And it was hard on all of us. It really was to shoot because I mean, I've known Paul for 7 years.
Really?
At that point, before he was ever doing Fast and the Furious, I knew him from another movie, a trucker movie.
Oh, was that the horror movie, right?
Joyride.
Yeah, Joyride.
Yeah, where's my candy cane? Yeah.
Candy cane. Holy shit.
I used to give him shit on set all the time. I'm going, where's my candy cane?
So were you in Joyride too?
No.
Oh, you weren't. Okay. How did you know him from that?
Because I watched the movie.
And now you so you mentioned Sons also. Were you on Sons or?
I've done a lot of stuff for the director of that movie outside of Sons, just because he always wanted guys that were tough,
right,
and guys that had tattoos and guys that could actually fight. That was his real big deal. So a lot of stunts that we had, whether it be Sons of Anarchy or the other TV shows that he produced, he wanted guys that could actually get physical with other guys. And I mean, we didn't like actually punch each other, but he wanted to see the violence. He wanted to see the animalistic nature of people. And a lot of actors that are in Hollywood, they act. And me, I was from a different method of acting. So he saw that on Sons of Anarchy. And so he gave me shots in other films that he had done. And so I played a white supremacist in a prison, so on and so forth, for documentaries. You know, it was about the actual ability to be believable, I guess, shot. And I remember I was doing one show for him. Name escapes me now, but it was a documentary, and I played the head of a prison gang. It's based on a true story in California, and I was a white supremacist. And this guy who came into prison was only there for a short time, but in prison, it's a different story. You know, I mean, when you're in prison, it doesn't matter what you did to get you there. You are there. And you need to pick a side. And so I found him to be the weakest guy. And so I basically coerce him as a white supremacist to kill somebody else. So he went from having a very short sentence to a life sentence. And that's based on a true story. So.
No.
Now, how does that, so people talk about like method actors and how they like really get into the roles of the people that they play.
Right.
Is that something that you do, or are you pretty good at like channeling that out, or does it stay with you like, afterwards? Yeah.
It does. It depends on the role that I'm
playing.
You know, I played a really abusive father.
Yeah.
In a role, a guy who was a Marine and married to this woman, had a daughter, everything else. And he was, I think, fighting between his consciousness and who he thought he was as a person. And so when he would get into conversation or like maybe battles, maybe with his wife, he would become confrontational to the point of, I run this show, you don't run this show. And he became really angry. So he became, in that anger, abusive.
Mm-hmm.
And that, I think that was probably the hardest role for me to do, because I, at the time, you know, I have a son and 2 daughters.
Yeah.
And I remember actually crying after a scene that I like physically abused my daughter, because I got so into the character, and I'm hitting this little girl, and I'm just literally pounding her like she's a man, you know? And when the director called cut, I remember I still like today, I'm breaking up, you know? It was hard.
Yeah.
Right.
You know?
Because that's not who you really are, right?
No, it's not who I am as a person, you
Right.
know? But as a character actor, you know, I have to do that.
Right.
Screen.
Well, it's, you know, it's funny you say that. Like, what was it, like that show Game of Thrones? Somebody was just talking about. I saw like this article about who's the actor that played Joffrey. He had to literally like stay away from. So he was getting death threats at home.
Scottish? I think he's Scottish.
Yeah, but he was getting death threats. Like people were just hate. Like he's literally had to go off the radar because
That means
he did. Yeah, exactly. It means he did a good job, but like that's pretty fucked up. That like people just kind of like assume, you know,
that they're like that.
Yeah, that you're like that.
Jake Gleason or Jack Gleason.
Jack Gleason. Yeah.
Outside that, my agent. Funny story. My agent talked me into doing what he said was a voiceover. So I went to this audition, and the voiceover character was a gay guy. So I gayed it the fuck up because I had a lot of gay friends, so I knew how to do it. So I gayed it the fuck up. I had the director, the assistant director, everybody rolling on the floor. They were loving it. And I walked out of the audition for the first time in my life going, I think I got this one, you know? 2 hours later, get a call from my agent. My agent goes, the director loved you. Everybody loved you. They want to sign you to this. And this is a pilot for Fox. And I went, awesome. This is what I need. You know, I get a voiceover job. This is awesome. Said the director wants to talk to you in person. And I said, all right. Gave me his phone number. I called the director up and I said, hey, you know what, dude? Thank you for giving me an opportunity to be a part of your dream, your show, so on and so forth. Everything that an actor does when they actually get chosen for a part, you know? And I said, where do we shoot ADR? And I remember there was like this long, silent pause on the phone. And I'm thinking, did I say something wrong? Finally, he answers back and goes, ADR, what are you talking about? And I said, where we do the voiceovers, where we shooting the show where I do the voice. And he goes, this is not a voiceover. This is live. We're going to do this. You're that guy. You're going to be that guy on screen. I remember my reaction. I was so scared at this. Nah, I've always played the bad guy. You know, I've always been, everybody who's ever seen me in the film has always said, that's the bad guy. Or he's that asshole cop. He's always that dude, you know? He's never the gay guy.
The gay guy.
And so I remember our first day on set. We're in a house in South LA. And the scene is between me and my best friend. And my character is a guy who works in Congress. This takes place in Washington, D.C. And so I'm in Congress, and you know, I try to keep my gayness on a low level, but everybody knows I'm gay nevertheless. And my best friend is having problems with his girlfriend. So the whole scene is I go over there and I interrupt him. You know, no, actually, he interrupts me because I'm sleeping with somebody else who's trying to be in Congress. It's another guy who escapes out a window, and he's trying to come into my house to talk to me about his girlfriend. And we have this little spiel about how it's so wrong to interrupt me when I'm having, I don't know, game time. It's great. It never went anywhere. It never got greenlit, but
That was my next question. That was my next question. I was like, oh, where is that?
I'm glad it didn't get greenlit because I didn't know how to base the character. But I think I did a good job because everybody kept laughing the whole entire time. So, except for my wife.
What was that show called?
Blueberry.
Woodbury.
Blueberry. Yeah.
Oh, Blueberry.
Oh, Blueberry.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be on Fox. Imagine Fox. Yeah.
There's got to be a whole shitload of shows like that, though, that get. What do they shoot a pilot and they try to pitch it and then it doesn't go anywhere? Or
every year we shoot pilot season twice a year in Hollywood, and so it's like spring and fall, like rutting season and when you give birth. So that's the pilot season, and for every actor for a job, you try to get on a pilot. So you do, I don't know, 50, 60 auditions, and maybe one of them picks you up. That one might have a semi green light to do something for Warner Brothers, Universal, NBC, doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. And do your best that you possibly can do. But they're in the running with probably 200 other shows that are trying to get the same spot. So yeah, you just do what you can. You never look at pilot season going, oh yeah, I got a job on pilot season. We're going to shoot 10 episodes. That's my career. No.
So they base that, who's going to get a show off the ratings of the pilot or just based off of?
It's the ratings. Which is really crazy because you take shows like Cheers, MASH, all these different shows who bombed in the ratings and then yet got picked up like cult classics. And
I love Cheers.
Yeah.
Love Cheers.
Yeah, that was a good fucking show, man.
Yeah. I met Woody once. He's short as fuck, though. He's like a midget. Not to put down midgets.
Poor Martin. Poor Martin.
All right, so I get a question. Here. When did you decide to start acting?
When I was 5.
5.
So that's like one of those things where you know what you want to do right off.
From the cookie jar, and I had to be cunning. My mom was no simp. She knew how to outwit me. So I was just a little bit better than her sometimes. That started it all.
So if you were going to give any like advice to somebody who wants to get into acting or, stunt or whatever, move to Hollywood to pursue that dream, what would it be? Like how to go about it?
Oh.
I would expect no a lot. And if you're not comfortable with no,
yeah,
this is not your job.
Yeah.
Outside that fact, be self-confident. Don't look at a room as like competition. Look at a room as like people who didn't get your job.
Yeah.
Outside that, I would say have a second job because you need to pay rent and Hollywood ain't cheap.
Mm-hmm.
So, and never be discouraged because you got to realize you're in a town of probably 5,000 people who want the same job you want.
Right. And that job, they're looking for a specific type, like a specific person, what you look like, how you talk, right? So
the thing is, I don't want to get typecast. I mean, I got typecast just because I took a personal choice in life of getting tattoos and being who I am.
Right.
But I didn't have these. If you go back and you look at my pictures, when I was on Days of Our Lives, I didn't have tattoos. They were visible.
Right.
And that's because my agent said you can't have those because if you do that, you're going to get typecast. And as the years went on, I didn't really care anymore about being typecast.
Mm-hmm.
I accepted the fact that I'm going to be the Russian mobster. I'm going to be, I'm always going to be a bad guy, you know? And so I was fine with that. And I remember when I got my neck tattoo here, as you see, my agent saw that. Not from me. He saw it on a bulletin of, where was I? I went to a red carpet event for Bullet Entertainment. And it was a Getty Films event. So Getty filmed me. And my agent seen that. And I remember I got a call from him going, what the fuck did you do to your neck? And I went, what? Hey, how you doing? What's going on? He's like, no, don't fucking know. What the fuck did you do to your neck? And I went, I got a tattoo. And he goes, you told me you didn't want to be fucking typecast in this goddamn town, you son of a bitch. He went off on me. And I'm going, first off, you're a short little Jewish motherfucker who I can kick the shit out of, you know? But outside that fact, you're the reason why I still have a job. So I just like sucked it up and went, I'm sorry. You know, I went total remission, you know?
Yeah.
And I just let him blow off his steam on me, you know, and I got through it. And then I made a vow that I would not get another tattoo on my neck, which I haven't still to this day. Because I'm so afraid he's going to come after me. So they're like little munchkins. I swear to God, they come out of the chimney. They come out of the roof. You got a tattoo on your neck.
Jeez.
And now, how did you meet your agent? Did you go looking for an agent, or did they look for you?
This is a funny story. I'm glad you brought that up. This cocksucker denied me 5 times. Well, he didn't actually deny me. We call them dogs at the door. His secretary denied me 5 times.
Oh, okay.
I came in with a resume, headshot, all the same stuff, you know. Did it 5 times. Never got a past the dog at the door. And so it was Justin that I was talking to that day. And I said, you know what? Obviously I got to get an agent and all that. I've been talking to this agency, but they won't talk to me. And he goes, what agency is that? And I said, Global Talent. He goes, oh, I know those guys. Hang on. It's on his phone. Hey, it's Justin. Yeah, put me through. Yeah. John, what are you doing? What's going on? Hey, I got this kid here, great actor. I think this kid's going somewhere. I'm working with him with stunts, everything. You got to see this kid. You got to see him. John wants to see you in 20 minutes. I was like, what?
So it's all about who you know.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I went to the same agency, same dog at the door.
Yeah.
I walk in, no headshot, no resume. I just walk in now. And they go, I'm here to see John. What's your name? Frank. Oh, yes, he's expecting you. Fuck you. And we went out and hate fucked. But anyway.
Good for you.
Was that before or after the back incident?
You know. Give me all the secrets.
And now, how did you actually meet Martin?
Actually, we never had worked stunts in the same program because he was more Disney, obviously, than me. And so I didn't,
You wouldn't know that by fucking talking to him.
wait a minute, he did Scrubs. Take it back. Sorry, Kate. He did Scrubs. But outside there, he was actually more signed to Disney and his stuff. But we met through a mutual friend. Our mutual friend would be Rhino, and Michael Rhino is phenomenal, and he's like this huge fucking dude, you know. And we're still really good friends today. Love the guy. He's like a brother to me. And he really kind of opened other doors for me. And you're right. That's kind of how Hollywood worked. It was like one person met me to another person, to another person, to another person, to another person. And then you just keep up that mainframe because you don't want to go south on one person. Because when you do that, especially with a director or a writer of a show or something like that, if you go south on them, they'll ruin everything you have from there on out.
It's your reputation, right? Yeah.
And so I met one person to another person to another person, but it went from Michael to Martin to I mean, oh my God, I have a history of people, you know, that I've been fortunate enough to work with.
What's Vin Diesel like?
Sorry, Vin, you're fat and lazy. Vin is, you know, him and
Breakdancing video is awesome.
Him and Rock had a huge falling out. I don't know why, you know. I wasn't there for that, but Vin is the guy who created the idea of family in Fast and the Furious.
Mm-hmm.
That's his concept. So between Michelle everybody who works on the cast or even in the crew, Vin's first statement to everybody there on set is, if you're new, I don't give a shit if you're an Oscar award winner or the guy who sweeps the toilet. You're the same person here. So leave your ego out of shit. So I think that maybe, I don't know The Rock personally.
Yeah.
I think maybe there was an ego conflict with those two people.
Oh, I'm sure.
Got into it. Vin always said that he never wanted to shoot a sequel to anything they ever did. So it was Universal who convinced him to do the sequel to Fast and the Furious, because he only did the one and done at first.
Yeah, because Too Fast, Too Furious.
Backwards, technically.
Yeah.
By how the show goes.
Right.
In reality, it makes it look like it was actually a story going forward. But it wasn't that way in reality, because Vin said he wasn't going to come back and do another Fast and the Furious. And Vin has always been a comic book fan. So Universal owned the rights to Pitch Black.
Oh.
And that was one of his favorite comic books.
Yep.
So he negotiated with Universal to own the rights to Pitch Black, to produce, direct, and write with Pitch Black for himself, in contingency of doing the sequels to Fast and the Furious.
Wow.
Well, Pitch Black bombed. Fast and the Furious is a franchise. So he actually locked himself into a great franchise. And he's brilliant.
Yeah.
With his ability,
Does he?
He's really the nicest guy, but I wouldn't fuck with him.
Does he ever talk about the pacifier?
No.
Okay. I wouldn't either. Yeah.
I love Pitch Black.
And by the way,
I like Pitch Black.
Worst Marine ever. If you got diaper duty.
I thought it was an okay movie. I don't know.
What, Pacifier?
It was cute.
Yeah.
It was cute. Yeah, whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and how many of those people went anywhere in Hollywood?
I couldn't even tell you who was in it.
Vin Diesel. That's about it.
Yeah. Fuck.
Exactly.
All right. So I saw you were in one of my favorite shows, and I got to know where it was and how it happened. But it says in your profile there you were in Southland.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
That was the greatest job of my entire life.
I don't doubt it.
I bet it was. I love that show.
There's this Asian girl who was in it.
Yes.
What's her name?
I don't know, but I remember an Asian chick.
The hottest Asian girl ever.
Was that the
supervisor? That was no. Hang on.
It wasn't Lucy Liu.
No, it wasn't Lucy Liu. It was shit.
It was Lucy Liu. Back your shit up.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. I knew. Yeah.
Don't fuck
Wasn't
with
it?
me. I'll tell you exactly who it was. I worked with her all day on set one day.
Lucy Liu.
Yes.
Yeah.
So here's a great story. You'll love this story. We're shooting the planking scene on Hollywood Boulevard. And so I'm one of the plankers. And so I'm laying down on Hollywood Boulevard. And Lucy Liu's job is to sit on my back and arrest me. So we spent 4.5 hours with her ass on my back.
Oh my God.
Arresting me before we get the shot. So my agent calls me up on Sunday, and we shot this on, I think, Wednesday or Thursday. My agent calls me on Sunday and goes, I heard you got arrested. I went, what? No, I didn't get what? No. And he goes, really? You didn't get arrested? Lucy Liu didn't arrest you? And I went, oh, yeah. She did. Horrible day for me to have her sit on my back and put my arms behind my back and like do different handcuff scenes and everything.
Manhandle you.
Yeah. I'm going, this is not Lucy Liu's stunt double. This is Lucy Liu.
That's awesome. I got to watch that show again.
Yeah,
I have to watch it now. I got to watch it again. It's been years since I've seen it.
So that was probably season 4?
A little more erect in certain scenes.
So that had to have been what? Is that their season 4 when they did that? Or was that the last season?
I don't remember what season they were shooting at the time, because it was just, when you get called to do these different TV shows or movies, you don't know where they're at in principal photography. You just go do it. I was just happy to do that day.
Shit. Yeah, I would have been happy to be that too.
Tom's looking it up.
Yeah.
Who's your most? So, were you ever? Who was your favorite person to double for? I guess.
It'd be my best friend, and that's Alan O'Neill. He played Hugh on Sons of Anarchy.
Oh yeah,
The Irish guy.
Yeah.
He was my best friend. We not only we were friends offset.
Season 4.
We went and hung out together. Everything else, we were always friends. I still have his last text that he sent to me on my phone before he passed away. And yeah, I love that guy. I'll always love him. He's like my best friend.
what's your most memorable role?
That's a hard one. I don't know. I liked all the roles that I did just because they were all a challenge. They were all not really me, you know? And that meant that I had to perform harder to make it believable to other people.
So anything that made you go outside of your bubble.
Every fucking one of them.
Which is acting, right?
Blueberry probably be the biggest one because, I mean, I'm a guy who rides a Harley Davidson. I'm a guy who has tattoos. I'm the guy who's always been the tough guy, To play a gay guy, I think probably was the most challenging thing for me. And to make it funny, because it's a comedy, and make it believable in the same time, was probably the biggest challenge I ever had.
We'll take this one here. I mean, we might have already maybe covered it with the arrow, but what was your scariest stunt you ever did and why?
That would be falling off the fucking mountainside with that fucking arrow in my
With the
chest.
arrow. Yeah.
I think would be my scariest one. Because every time I fell, I didn't know
How it was gonna, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we had conditions, we had weather conditions, and it seemed like every time we took a shot, the hill that I was falling off of kept getting degraded, like the sand or dirt kept moving all the time. So the mark always had to change in there. And so that meant when the mark changed, that bush that's in front of me changed as well. So I had to hit my mark, obviously always on time, because you need, consistency in your shot.
Right.
So yeah, it was tough and scary.
Jesus.
Racing cars is not scary to me. I'll do that shit every day.
Oh man.
Now, do you have anything planned for down the road, or I know you're doing the crossover right now?
Yeah, I'm doing the crossover discoveries right now.
Yep.
Yeah, I've got a horror film that's in the works right now to be shot in Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Ooh.
And then I have another film to do back in LA. It's still in negotiations.
Mhm.
So I can't really talk about that.
Right.
In depth. But outside that, yeah, it's just doing podcasts with you guys at 10-0.
There you go.
Really all
Do you
I
need any amateur actors?
I
He's been trying. I mean,
What's that?
I just called Marty.
So I got to tell you, okay, I didn't need to tell you this. When I was in middle school, I was seventh grade. There was this promo that came to the University Mall in Burlington, right? And her name was Angie's Models and Images. And what?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I know. Well, hang on, we'll get to that. So she came to the mall. They had like this runway set up, and you would walk down the runway, whatever, and they would pick you if they thought you had, it, right? So I show up and I do the whole shebang or whatever, and she's like, "Yeah, perfect. Yeah, you're good. We're gonna do some headshots with you." I did some headshots down in Burlington. I got like 7th grade. You can check them out. I got them on my Facebook. They're pretty cool. I was pretty, photogenic. But anyways,
I'm sending him the Frank.
First time I saw like an actual female's like body, because I was doing it with two other like females, and we got changed.
Geographic. I don't know where you come from.
So, anyways, fast forward, right? She's like, yeah, we got your headshots, you know, which we had to pay. Well, my parents paid for, right? So I go to Cornwall, Canada for like a 1-day acting class with like their, you know, seminar type thing. So I go up there, come back from that, and trying to get in touch with Angie, find out she like moved to company, whatever, like scammed, like moved to Texas, didn't like, just kind of divorced her husband and was gone with like all the money. So that was the end of my acting career in 7th grade. Yeah. But yes, you are correct. Scam, total scam.
I can't find the pictures. Damn it.
All I got to say out of that is anytime they ask you to go to a place called Cornwall or Cornhole, you're getting fucked in the place you don't want to be fucked in. So,
hey, we're small town Vermont. Like, I don't fucking know. You know, like, oh, you want to be an actor? Fuck yeah. Here, give me some money. Go to Cornwall, Canada. Okay.
My work came into being in Hollywood and having to with the bureaucracy that Hollywood
you have to go there.
Yeah. It's still to this day, it's still an uphill battle. I mean, I still have an agent, I still have a publicist, I still have all those people behind me. But it's not a lot of people don't realize there's a lot of politics in Hollywood, and that's in the film industry.
Yeah.
And, you know, you play back and forth. A lot of directors want to go off of what your IMDb star rating is, or nowadays it's what your Facebook or your Instagram profile says about you. You know, that's where they're at with things. They're not looking for actors, because if you go back in the day of Jack Lemmon and Walter Matthau and Reed
God,
all these greats, you know, that lived in Hollywood, it was about your ability to act. You know,
now it's your popularity.
Yeah, it was how believable you were as an actor.
Yeah,
and that's what got you hired. You know. And I think that's what shortcomes a lot of us other actors out there, is that our ability is amazing, but because we don't have a huge fan following, you don't get the job. And that's all they look at. They don't want you to audition, green screen, second read, anything. They don't want you to do that. They just want to see how much fans you have. And the more fans you have, the better your possibilities of getting hired for that production is. And it's
because that gives them more money, because they know that more people are going to watch it.
And it's all about the money.
Yep. Right. Well, that's about anything in life. Which
is sad, because technically acting was not about the money. It was your ability to be believable. It's an audience that you're somebody else.
And politics wasn't about the money either. It was your ability to serve the people. But anyways.
Correct. But you take people like Jack Lemmon. I don't give a shit what movie you watch him in. I'm good friends with his son, Chris. And we've had this conversation a million times. His father was so great at being a character that you never looked at a movie and said, oh, that's Jack Lemmon. You were so enthralled in the character that he was performing. You didn't think about who he was as a person, the real guy, you know? You were in love with the character. Grumpy old men. Yes. The apartment, you know? He launched careers for other actors. One of his greatest stories, his son told me, he worked with Marilyn Monroe. And they were shooting in Orange County. And his son told me, he said, my dad hated Marilyn Monroe. And I was like, really? Why? She's like this huge popular. He's like, yeah, my dad had such a huge problem with her because she would never show up to set on time. When she did, she was drunk or high. And then when we get into actually doing the performance, she didn't even know her lines. That tells you what kind of actor Jack Lemmon was. He was a very prepared actor, you know, which means that you come to set, you know your lines, you know what you need to do, and then everything else is improv at that point. Positioning, feeling, emotion is improv. You get that from your other actor. You know, they feed nature. You buy into nature. And I adopted that principle in my acting career. First off, I can't stand it when somebody shows up to set and doesn't know their fucking lines. That pisses me off. And I had that problem with a celebrity. I was doing a TV show for Warner Brothers at the time, and it was a pilot. And I'm not going to tell you a celebrity's name because I'd probably get sued if I did. But nevertheless, I had always admired him for his career and what he had done in his career. Well, when we were shooting these pilots or these shows, you know, outside the pilot, he was the only actor who never remembered his lines, flubbed up in the middle of his lines, and we would go from Monday table readings, Tuesday, set, Wednesday off, Thursday, hot set, Friday show, live audience, you know? And I'm glad the show never got picked up because was I honored to work with this guy? Absolutely. Was he actually a huge disappointment in my career? Absolutely. And that's sad to say because you watch some of these actors that you admire. Like this actor, I've been watching him since I was a kid, you know? I always admired him. I watched him in Macbeth. I watched him in a lot of different TV shows and movies and everything else. And then I finally get my chance to work with him one-on-one, and I was hugely disappointed in who he was as a person and an actor, you know? And that's sad.
That's why they say never meet your heroes.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, if you work in Hollywood long enough, you will.
Yeah. I've heard that about a lot of actors that are just terrible to work with. I mean, and then there's other ones who are really down to earth and awesome, like, you know, Keanu Reeves, like Mark everybody's Wahlberg. Always talking about him.
Keanu Reeves, I've had motorcycle riding with him. And
really?
Yes.
And he seems like an awesome dude.
He is probably one of the most down-to-earth people you ever meet in your entire life. He doesn't act like a celebrity. And I know a lot of celebrities. He does not act like a celebrity. He
rides the subway. He does Uber. Like he's just a person being a person.
Married to a common girl.
Yep.
You know, he's not about the star and the privilege and everything else. He's just who he is.
Yeah.
And he's amazing. And he loves motorcycles. He has his own motorcycle company in California.
I've seen those. Yeah. Have you ever ridden one of his motorcycles? I've seen them and they look awesome, but I'm not sure.
I'd have to
ride.
Okay. Like, Jay's ridden one of his motorcycles.
Okay. I mean, they look good, but you know, I'm a Harley person, same thing. So I see that and I'm just like, oh, maybe.
I'm a Harley person myself. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the most important quality of an actor?
Timing.
In what sense?
So doing your lines on time and just everything. Okay.
Be on time.
Not be on time to set. I think everybody knows that's just a given. Timing in your ability to be able to act. Because there's nothing harder for a method actor to work with than a person who has no timing. Because you throw off everything I'm doing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So if I say, hey, how you doing? And your line is, hey, how you doing? But you deliver it as in, hey, how you doing? You fuck me up at that point, you know?
Right.
And now I think about how I'm going to go from there to not only save your career, but save mine, you know? Because you just fucked everything up.
So does improv have a place in scripted television or movies?
Absolutely. I oh my God, I can't tell you how many times I've improv'd, you know, off of scripted lines. And you can see that in any of my performances. I can tell you how many of those I actually improv certain things in there just because writers are great about writing feelings and emotions.
I was just going to ask you that. Yeah.
Yeah. They don't always capture the actual moment.
Yeah.
So when you're in a moment with somebody, the words might be there, but the deliverance might need a little bit more to make it believable. So that's where you need to learn improv. You know?
Do you think that like writers, a really good writer will set that up for the actors? Like they set it up in the script for the actors to improv. Is that something they do, or is that something that the actors do themselves?
It depends on the writer.
Yeah.
I've worked with some writers that you didn't have to really improv anything because they were on spot with how everything should flow. And then you have other ones that have gaps and spaces in certain things. And that's where you need to fill in to make it believable when the camera rolls. So yeah, it can be difficult, but you need to, as an actor, as a seasoned actor, you definitely be able to read those moments.
Yeah. So when you're talking about like a whole movie production, right? Like us as normal people watching a movie or a sitcom on TV, right?
Normal people, nice.
Normal people, right? Normal people who have no idea like what goes on behind the scenes. Do you really have like all the actors on set all at once in one time in one moment? It's all spread out, right? Like you're doing a scene and you're probably talking to the other actor, but they're not even there, right? Is that how it works? Sometimes
it depends on the scene.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
That's just so weird. Like I just
what the call is gained in.
And now back to the improv part. I started watching the show. It's been a while, but it's called Murderville. I don't know if you ever saw it. It's on Netflix, and they have a one celebrity every episode that has no fucking script. They don't know what's going on. Everybody else has a script, and it's like a police drama. And the celebrity actor or person is the other cop, and they have to try to solve this mystery. Everybody has a script except for that person. It's fucking hilarious.
I played the same game, it was called Murder Mystery Night.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah. I've never actually personally, I've never worked in a situation like that. I mean, a lot of the actors that I've worked with when it came to actually delivering lines as an actor are pretty seasoned in what they do, so it's been pretty fortunate. There's only been a few occasions where it wasn't that great, but other than that, I mean, I've been pretty fortunate in my career because a lot of people that I've worked with are just phenomenal in what they do.
And now you live, over here on the East Coast. So you must travel a lot back and forth to out west. It sounds like, how to get work or visit, people or stuff like that. I was just
in LA 2 weeks ago.
I know. Yeah. I remember you hit me up when you saw my photos of when I was
sitting in my backyard with my dog. Going,
yeah,
this is not my house anymore.
No, when I was out in Hollywood, and you saw me post pictures of me over at Universal, you reached out and you're like, dude, you should have told me that you were going out there because I probably know half the people that were in Waterworld because it's a stunt person side gig and stuff like that, and I didn't even think about it.
And that is a stunt person side gig. That's the nice thing about Universal. I mean, Warner Brothers not so much because they don't really offer that in the back block thing. Universal does.
Yep.
Where different elements between Waterworld and a couple other shows that they do. As a matter of fact, Universal, because we, as Fast and the Furious, were Universal as well. So there's a Fast and the Furious show.
Yeah, they had that. I saw that.
Transformers: Dark of the Moon was Universal production, so they had a Universal thing there as well, with soldiers and all that type of stuff. So Universal is a really good giver when it comes to a person who works in stunts.
Yep.
Because they of course they love to have you, there to be a part of that because you already know the choreography, so you don't really have to learn on anything, But yeah, the other studios, Warner, CBS, NBC, Fox, none of them have that. So
cool.
As an actor, what's the most challenging issue you face?
I love this girl. She's the only one posing questions.
I think she's the only one watching.
No, there's other people watching, but she always posts the questions. That's my wife, by the way.
Yeah.
Oh, even better.
I don't pay her to do it. Trust me.
No, sure you don't.
Okay.
Later tonight. Again, I'm sorry, I got off track.
That was the question again, Cole.
It was, as an actor, what's the most challenging issue you face?
Understanding the character that I'm playing, I think, is the hardest part. Because it takes a lot of self-discovery. Especially when you do characters that you are not in touch with, that you don't really know anything about. But you have to breathe life into the lines that are on the script. You have to become that entity at that point. I think that's pretty tough sometimes, because you think you might be on track, but then when you do a cold read with the director or the writers and you're off track, they'll tell you right away, no, it's not how we see it, and so you have to go back and do a rediscovery, and it takes a lot. I was friends with a really good actor, another one of my friends who passed away. Hollywood has this thing about it. And I remember when he was researching a role, him and I had talked on the phone about the role. And I told him, I said, you can't be comical, because everybody who's ever played that fucking role has been comical, And he's like, yeah, well, I'm not going to be comical. I want to bring something dark to this. I want, because the other character is becoming more dark. So I want to be dark as well. And so I read the script with him and looked over the script with him, and I said, you gotta go outside your box here. You need to find something you've never found before. If you really want to take that character there, you have to be violent. You have to be angry. You have to be possessive. You have to be everything a serial killer would be, And he researched his role really well. And I think that when he performed it, when I watched on screen, I still think that he was the best one to ever play that character for ever.
Can I take a guess?
Sure.
As to who you're talking about? Because to me, you basically just described Heath Ledger's portrayal of the Joker.
You're absolutely correct.
Yeah. I still think he was the greatest Joker ever played. And
I see Jared do it, and I think Jared did a great job. I think
but it was different though. It was different. Like Jared did a split person, he wasn't dark like Heath Ledger, literally just he was crazy. He was
he
was the Joker
in his lap.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But you said the ones before, played it comical, Jack Nicklaus and the older Jokers that I don't even know their names, but they were, in the sitcom, the old Adam West Batmans, but you look at Heath Ledger, that was probably one of the most tragic deaths even for me. I loved him as an actor. He was a great actor. And it's sad to think of what that franchise could have been with him continuing on. Yeah. But yeah, that sucks. How long did you know Heath Ledger for?
Oh God, I knew him ever since he had done the role of Crazy About You or Something About You or something.
Oh, 10 things.
10 things I hate about you. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the first time I ever seen him, but I had met him at a Hollywood party.
Okay.
And when he was getting ready to the fucking movie with the swords and shit.
Oh, A Knight's Tale. Or yeah, was it A Knight's Tale?
Yeah.
And his house was always open. He lived in the Hollywood Hills, and we used to go over there and hang out. He was crazy with his photography. He loved fucking just taking pictures, and he would shoot photography all the time, and then shoot photography with outside of still cameras with a slow-mo camera, of people just hanging out, and stuff. And he was really brilliant with his artistry.
Yeah.
But as an artist, I think he was conflicted. And I think as he got into darker roles, especially with the role of Joker, I think that consumed him. And I think that I don't know. I think he became lost. I'd only talked to him, I think maybe twice when they were doing the Joker movie or the Batman movie. And I don't know. He seemed to be discomplacent. Not really the Heath that we knew, that fun-loving dude who is just crazy with a camera always in your face, type of guy who's kind of annoying. He became kind of disconnected.
Did he just get kind of lost in that role?
I think so.
Yeah.
And I think it really consumed him as a person, because I remember his workload was
well, he was doing another movie after that, wasn't he?
Halfway in between that.
In between, yeah.
He was. I remember his workload because we had talked about that. He spent some time going to insane asylums and talking like serial killers and all kinds of shit, and he was taking the words in the script and, I don't know, kind of like diving into how maybe these guys would mentally think about things like that.
Yeah.
He consumed with that person. And that's a problem with method actors, is that, you know, we're not character actors. We're method actors. And method means you dive into exactly who that person is. And that means you go to the deepest, darkest crevices of a person's soul. And that's exactly who the Joker was. It was a disgruntled person who grew up with mental disabilities. If you read the comic books, you can see that. You know? And that's what Heath brought to that role, was understanding how mental disabilities work in psychosis of a person becoming violent. It's not drug induced. It's not, you know, this has nothing to do with drugs or alcohol. This is a person who's just seriously fucking mentally fucked up. And you can't turn a person like this back to sane. You just can't. You know, I mean, that's why our prisons are full of people like that, you know, is because they will never be sane. They are exactly who they are, and they're gone. And I think he dove so far into being gone that he got locked into that and became depressed. He was unfortunately taking pills, you know, which is not uncommon for a lot of actors. I mean, I went through my period where, you know, you get hurt on set, but you got another job going on. You can't be hurt. You got to keep going.
Yeah.
So you take, you know, prescription drugs. And the sad thing is if you just know the right people, you get these drugs. Doctors give you these drugs at no cost, you know? And so it's in Hollywood. If I could ever share a dark story about Hollywood, I get why people become addicts in Hollywood, because shit's free. You don't pay for anything, you know? And it makes it harder. And I think we lose a lot of great talent because it's so accessible.
Well,
which is something that should stop.
I agree. I mean, I think of like John Candy or, you know, Chris Farley or even like you said, like Heath Ledger. Like that's, you know, even Joaquin Phoenix didn't do anything compared to what Heath did.
His brother did.
Oh yeah, River. Yep.
Yeah.
His brother died in front of the Viper Room in his arms. And people always say, why is Joaquin so fucking distant and seemingly fucked up in his ways of doing shit? Well, if your idol, who's your brother, dies in your arms in front of a place with drug overdose,
tends to leave a mark on you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember hearing about that when it happened.
Great job at getting out there and becoming, you know, great too. I mean, I'm friends with a lot of these guys.
Yeah.
And, you know, I know them outside of tabloids. And I know who they are. And I see the shit that they've gone through. And that's something that, the you know, their audience or their fans don't get. They just read shit. But to know these people personally, you see where they come from. You see how hard it is. And you know, I mean, for me, I know because I had a career in Hollywood. You know, I saw the bureaucracy. I saw how shit worked out. I've been to parties where cocaine was built on fucking tables. Everything's free. How do you not get consumed or fucked up by this shit?
Look at Jean-Claude Van Damme.
It's always in your face.
Yeah.
Van Damme lost probably 10, 15 years of his career because of that.
Yeah.
And these people push you.
Yeah.
You this shit. Oh, you want to be accepted in Hollywood? You want to be a part of the crowd? Do it. Come on, do it. Show your worth. Don't be a pussy.
It's like getting offered a cigarette in high school all over again, but like tenfold.
Mm-hmm.
But these are all people that are in your immediate circle. And you want to impress because how do you keep working?
Right.
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, like you said, you don't want to burn bridges, right?
Exactly. You don't go run to the cops and say, "Oh, I went to this party in the Hollywood Hills, and so had fucking $20,000 of coke on the table and a bunch of drugs." Because the next thing you know, yeah, that person might go to jail, but you don't have a fucking job in this town anymore.
So, would you say that the Hollywood elite are pretty much untouchable, and they're the ones calling everyone else untouchable? Is that accurate or inaccurate? I'm not going to go there.
I wouldn't say for everybody.
No, I agree. Like, yes, I know.
Some people have a great gift of staying away from that and still holding a career in Hollywood.
Yeah.
But then there's others that need to be accepted. And I think that the problem with most actors is we're great with emotion and feeling, but we need to be accepted. And I think that's what we've always fought for in our lives, is to be accepted. So therefore, to be an actor is a great way to be accepted because we need to do a great role.
Well, would you agree that if to be an actor, you want to act as somebody else that you don't think that you as a person are good enough to be accepted, you have to act as something different to be accepted? Does that make any sense?
It does, but
or have I drank too much?
No. I think honestly, as actors, we're shallow. We're hulls of nothingness, and it's characters that we play that make us who we are on screen for you guys. You
basically just said what I was trying to say. Yeah,
we're still empty shells, of where feeling and emotion and humanity and consciousness should be. I think is a big problem with Hollywood, and Hollywood has a tendency to suck that out of you. You can come there with the biggest ego in the world, or the biggest pride in yourself in the world, but Hollywood will take every bit of that from you and spit it out on the street, and you will be left with nothing but an empty shell. And now you're great for casting.
That makes sense.
Almost like boot camp. Break you down to absolutely nothing and build you back up the way we want you.
Yeah, it kind of is, except for we don't have those benefits.
That's true.
All right.
There's no active hospital that I know of.
All right. So to close this out, I want to know if Frankie is going to watch a movie. What is going on for you to watch it? What are you putting in the? What are you putting on the streaming app? What are you putting in the DVD player or whatever? What are you
or
watching?
The Betamax or the VHS?
The VHS. What are you gonna watch?
And you can't say Pornhub.
I mean, it can.
Pornhub. To be honest with you guys, I just as if I have to go for the emotion as an actor, I'm the worst person to watch a movie because
you just don't like it, or.
Well, no, it's not that. My ex-wife will tell you I'm the worst person to watch a movie with because I understand how film works and I watch for every inconsistency.
Okay.
Everything that is. So I'm losing what is actually the movie because I'm too busy paying attention to what they fucked up on.
Right.
So it's hard for me to. That's why I watch more documentaries and things that have to do with learning than I do watching acting.
It's funny you say that because recently I've started watching not the main characters, but what the background characters are doing.
Yeah.
And it's really funny to watch that. You just watch them they have no fucking idea what they're doing. It's hilarious. Even in a serious movie, it's hilarious to watch the background people.
Can I share a great story about Amy Poehler with you?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So Amy and I were on the sets of Park and Recreation, and we're doing a scene, and this is the retirement party of one of the cast members' characters, and I'd done quite a few Parks and Recreation with them. I was the gay guy with Rob Lowe at their gay bar, So I've done a lot of great stuff with this. I love Amy. Amy is such a great actress and funny. She had a day where she was a little bit off, you know. She had so many movies going on, and TV shows and SNL and everything. So she's consumed, you know, and her work schedule is ridiculous. And we're there and we're shooting a scene in a bar. And I remember there was a background actor from a shitty fucking background company. And this cocksucker, sorry to use that word, but he's a fucking cocksucker, decided to interrupt her scene because she was not delivering the lines right. And she kept forgetting certain things. So they kept calling cut and cut and cut. So this asshole thought he was a better actor. And he's all, she said something like, you know, I'm sorry, I'm going to get it this time. And he said something like, yeah, about time.
Oh boy.
And so they called action. And she said, no, cut, stop. Who the fuck just said that to me? And I was like, oh my God. This is the first time I ever seen Amy Poehler pissed off in anything. Because she's usually a really sweet, easygoing person, you know? And she was like, who the fuck just said that? And everybody just kind of like looks at this one dude. He's standing by this thing, surrounded by a bunch of little groupie girls, you know, who I think he was trying to impress with his great acting ability, who had nothing to do other than look stupid on TV, you know? And she goes, did you say that to me? And he goes, yeah, I said that. And she goes, who the fuck are you? And he goes, I'm just a background actor. And she goes, exactly. You're a fucking background actor. You have no idea what I go through and what I'm doing. So don't fucking talk again. And then she like quieted down, went right back to her spot, you know, for her mark. And they re-rolled again. All you saw was that dude just standing there the whole time going. we break for lunch and we go outside and Amy and I are talking and Amy goes, is this seriously how these background actors are doing stuff today? And I go, I have no idea. I don't even know who the fuck that guy is. And she goes, you know what? Fuck him. She walks up to the director and tells the casting agent and the director, that guy, get him off the fucking set and off the lot right now. They walk over and go, dude, you got to go. Great lesson to those little assholes.
And that is called burning your bridges.
I'm an actor. I have no IMDb, but I'm a fucking actor in Hollywood. And so I'll tell other actors how to do their job. No, you have no idea what we go through as actors, how long our hours are, the shit you got to remember, the countless times you go over the same fucking thing until the director calls closing the gate. There's so much shit to go through. And so if I was to ever give advice to anybody who wants to go to Hollywood to become an actor, learn your fucking place and realize that if you start off as a background actor like Brad Pitt and everybody else did, keep your fucking mouth shut. Because Brad Pitt, if he'd ever talk shit, he'd never fucking be where he's at today. So learn your space.
I love that.
Yep.
I love that.
I think that goes for anywhere. Learn your space.
Yeah.
Shut your mouth and learn your space.
Yeah, it's just simple mathematics, man. You don't walk into a CEO's office and tell him how to run his fucking company. You know?
Exactly. You deliver the mail like everyone else.
And tell, Amy Poehler how to run her show.
Yeah.
Well, Frankie, that was probably some of the best life advice
Oh, absolutely.
out there.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I want to say thank you for helping us kick off our season 2.
I'm happy to
Yes,
do
sir.
that. That's awesome.
And thanks for taking the time to come on here and chat with us.
Well, thank whose ever wife got on there to answer, that was awesome. Makes me think your fans are not connected.
Hey, and don't forget, if you want an amateur actor,
Tom,
I'm available.
yeah.
I'm available.
Yep.
I'll give it a shot.
You know what? I'll tell you this much.
I'll keep my mouth shut.
Tickets in Vermont, we're all good.
You got it.
All right. Well,
All right,
thank
brother.
you guys for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Frankie, again, thank you so much for coming out. And yeah, guys, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, man.